What is up, car addicts? In this video I'm going to be giving a guide for this week's normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race totaling over $300,000. Remember, the time trials can only be completed once a week for the full $100,000 payout. The premium race, however, can be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered / flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So starting off with the time trial this week, which is end-to-end, I highly recommend either the Pariah, Italian GTO, the Vest 8, Emerus, Krieger, or a Baddie 801 constantly holding wheelies for this time trial. In terms of route, this time trial only has a small shortcut section at the start, which you can see here, and that is pretty simple for the most part. Now, the rest of the time trial is pretty straightforward with a main road section that leads you straight to the highway entrance. After that, it's pure highway all the way to the finish line, and then there's a small off-road portion right before the finish line, which is pretty simple if you angle it properly. As always, I will be using the podium vehicle of the current event week on these time trials if they're quick enough to complete them. And for this event week, we have the Enos Windsor drop on the podium, which isn't really ideal for this time trial as it's mainly top speed based, and the Windsor just doesn't have the sufficient top speed. I tried dozens of times and I just couldn't get very close with this car, so I was forced to pick an alternative vehicle, and I figured what better than to keep it in the same Enos brand, because of course the Windsor drop is Enos. So I tried with the Paragon R, the Enos Paragon R, and with that one I was able to just barely beat it by a few seconds. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito time trial, which is La Fuente Blanca. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. So this RC time trial is pretty tricky if you've never done it before because of the tight areas and the bumpy sections as well, and the high speed bumpy sections on top of that. So just make sure to let off the throttle during most of the corners to maintain the stability of your Bandito, and make sure to brake a lot for those tighter sections so that you don't crash. And lastly, when you use your brakes, make sure to press them in about halfway, not all the way, or you might lose control of your Bandito. And lastly, we have this week's premium race, which is 8-figure bonus. This one is restricted to the Sports Classics class. I highly recommend either the Retinue Mark II, Cheetah Classic, Turismo Classic, or Rapid GT Classic for this race. Now this one is pretty difficult if you've never done it before because of the high speed bumpy turns. I highly recommend practicing the normal version of this race first to familiarize yourself with the corners and those bumpy sections which can spin your car out if you're taking the wrong line to approach them with too much speed. Now you might see me going on and off a lot of curbs and sidewalks in this race, and the reason for that is because I'm curb boosting. And for those of you who don't know what that is, basically when you go on and off a curb or sidewalk in GTA, it makes your car go faster. Just the way it is, a broken thing in the game that people take advantage of to make the cars go quicker. But anyways, for this race I will be using a fully upgraded Cheetah Classic. And that's it, guys. A normal time trial is pretty easy if you use one of the higher top speed vehicles I mentioned. The RC time trial is pretty difficult if you've never done it before, so just let off the throttle for most of the turns and brake a lot. And this week's premium race is a bit difficult if you've never done it before, so again, I highly recommend practicing the normal version of it first. Again, remember guys, you can earn over $300,000 between the three this week, and setting yourself to go to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion, especially this week's time trial. It's definitely a good challenge. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.